Good morning, planet Earth. I hope you all had a wonderful week. I took last weekend off because I was up in Seattle attending a very beautiful wedding of two wonderful people, friends of ours. So I'm going to have to play a little bit of catch up today, but should move quickly. So here we go. The presidential debate, starting with Mr. Trump, the Donald himself. He was pretty sloppy. Didn't seem very prepared, but was at least semi-effective at not seeming totally crazy and reminding people of the anti-establishment message that basically it's this class of useless eaters known as politicians and bureaucrats that have caused the problems that we're in. And, you know, it's our fault too for allowing it, but, you know, everybody deserves a little bit of responsibility. So, you know, Hillary had the debate stance of a smug smarmosaur dispensing meaningless platitudes. You know, in public, Hillary Rodham Clinton cares about people and really wants to help them. And then she'll go and basically call for war in Syria and basically, with nuclear-armed Russia as well, because that's the reality. Howard Dean, after the debate, of all people, questioned if Trump is a cocaine user, because I guess he was sniffling. I didn't notice any sniffling, but I guess a lot of people did, you know, so Howard Dean of the Woo fame back in 2004 or whatever, you know, he's the guy who's saying Trump might be a coke user. This is wonderful. The irony is palpable. It's thick. Though many people know Bill Clinton is a misogynist, fewer people know that he is a rapist and sex predator. Far fewer know that Bill and Hillary are part of a satanic crime network that works by fraud, deception, and human sacrifice as part of a vast, basically, network to consolidate power. One major pillar of that operation of this criminal network is drugs. Okay, everybody knows that the legal drug industry is a corrupt business model, just basically making money off of sick people, you know, making them sick with this flawed modality of anti-health, and then basically making them lifetime customers by getting them hooked on whatever pills you've made for them. But hardly anybody knows that the elite families have moved illicit drugs, the illegal drugs, for centuries. The Ivy League schools of the East Coast were founded by opium money, yeah. Bill Clinton himself, as governor of Arkansas, oversaw the political side of the cocaine smuggling operation run by the CIA out of a little town called Mena, Arkansas. There's been plenty of planes that have crashed and been forced to land, and they found hundreds of kilos inside of them. You know, it's all pretty much public, but, you know, they control the media narrative, and so you don't know that the CIA is the one who has been moving all these illicit drugs into the country and controlling the supply and the flow. You know, that was back in the Arkansas days, back in the 80s for Bill. Now, you know, the whole apparatus has scaled up quite notably, and the U.S. military is basically the guardian of the heroin and opium supply coming out of Afghanistan. Very nice. And, yeah, so perhaps this is why the U.S. officials are so concerned about the leader of the Philippines, Rodrigo Duterte, basically telling everyone that they should just piss off while he basically executes all the drug dealers in the entire country with merciless, cold-blooded regard. But, you know, we'll see. That's just speculation. But, you know, these families are the ones that control the drug trade, and the Philippines has been making very interesting pivots toward the Russian-China, you know, alliance and away from the United States. Former Secret Service agent Gary Byrne, you know, came out with his public testimony of, you know, what was going on inside the Clinton White House, kind of like, you know, he felt a little alarmed by what he saw and felt the need to tell the American people that basically the Clintons are coke addicts. They love cocaine. You know, he basically revealed that during the Bill Clinton's tenure as president of the United States, you know, the whole White House was just basically this, it was a coke den, and, you know, he's getting blown underneath the White House desk, and, you know, it's pretty disgusting. And, you know, they had a servant bring them a platter each morning, and then they were very grumpy people until that point, and then they'd all come out all super energized and ready to take on the day because, well, they are not just involved business-wise and politically in cocaine, but they love that stuff. Bill Clinton has been rumored to have a nose like a vacuum cleaner, they say. And so, yeah. These people, the Clintons, went from near broke when Bill left office in 2000 to $150 million of wealth acquired in only a few years by Hillary Rodham Clinton selling favors to the world. Foreign donors, domestic billionaires, anybody who has money, millions of dollars, you want to buy some influence, you want to buy some of the United States assets, you want your corruption trial overturned, just give some millions to the Clintons, and that'll make it go away. What a legitimate way to make money, right? So basically what we have is a professional level coke whore and a serial rapist that get to slide in the media narrative, while Americans are supposed to get mad because Trump talks like every other beastly slob in the empire. Conveniently timed, of course, to the Access Hollywood tape was released at basically the same time as WikiLeaks released Hillary Clinton's Wall Street transcripts for her speeches that she gave to all the major banks that have completely just raped the savings of the entire nation and set everyone up to basically suffer with the whole housing collapse, and now we're ready for the next collapse. But anyway, yeah, so I encourage you to check out those transcripts. Very revealing of the character of this woman. And, in other news, Gary Johnson doesn't know that Kim Jong-un is the leader of North Korea, and his running mate Bill Weld has basically endorsed Hillary Clinton. Wow. What a time we're having. And moving on to the second segment, the brink of World War III in Syria. The main reason why the outcome of the U.S. election is important and why it matters. And the reason why Russia may have hacked the Democratic National Committee server and Hillary Clinton's, private email server, assuming that the imperial propaganda is to be believed, which is very dubious, but anyway, assuming that that's why, it's because Hillary has openly called for war against Russia in Syria, cloaking bloodlust in a pathetically predictable cover, save the innocent civilians. Okay, these people are Satanists. They don't care about innocent civilians, and they never will. And when you hear these people getting all up in arms about it, you know that's when they're trying to start another war. Because, all right, the Saudis just bombed a hospital in Yemen, killing 100, wounding 600 more, okay? Like, the U.S. drone program is at 90% civilian casualties, kids getting killed all over the Middle East and North Africa, wedding parties getting blown up, and now all of a sudden Russia's crimes against humanity because the U.S. and its terrorist proxies in Syria are about to be militarily defeated. Russia and Syrian government are advancing on Aleppo, and the city of Aleppo has basically been divided in two segments at this point. There's the Syrian government-controlled faction, and then there's the rebel-held, aka the Western CIA-backed terrorists. And at this point, all the civilians have fled into the Syrian side because it's basically just this terrorist enclave in one half of the city, and that's the part of the city that's getting its shit kicked out of it by Russian bombers. And, basically the Western intelligence apparatus realizes that it's at risk of losing its little project in Syria, and so they're giving one last gasp to try and get the United States citizens to endorse another war. Trump has called for cooperating with Russia to defeat the CIA-backed terrorists known as ISIS and Al-Qaeda. Hillary is backed by senile warmongers like John McCain, George H.W. Bush, and former director of the CIA, Michael Morrell, scumbag. The U.S. just suspended diplomacy with Russia in Syria, so they're not really talking anymore, because there's no trust left. The United States has burned all the trust that it could possibly muster. I'm surprised that it took Russia this long to get to this point, but here we are, and it's not necessarily a good development. There's talks of military strikes in the Western media. Russia has responded in kind by deploying S-300 anti-aircraft missile systems in Syria, which can basically blow any American jets out of the sky. It's a very advanced weapon system. Russia and China saw what happened in Libya in 2011 when the West promised not to remove Gaddafi by force and open up a power vacuum, and then what happened? Libya got destroyed, Gaddafi got raped by a bayonet in the street and his head cut off, and American soldiers were killed at Benghazi because Secretary Clinton is the worst Secretary of State in the history of the United States of America, and that's pretty much inarguable at this point. The U.S. tried to get rid of Assad by creating ISIS, basically religious mercenaries, gave them the guns from the Libyan arsenals, but Russia has protected Assad. They stepped in 2013 and basically started doubling down. They have a strategic defense agreement with Syria, okay? They're allies, and Syria asked Russia to come in and help out. They have legal authority to be there. The United States does not. Nobody asked them to be there. They're an invading force. They are just brought in, these hired terrorists, and we're supposed to believe, oh my God, the United States cares about civilians. We need to go help them by doing a no-fly zone. And then, yeah, right, shooting down some Russian jets. That'll protect civilians. Get the fuck over yourselves. Are you kidding me? 500,000 people have died in this country and millions have had to leave their homes because of the United States and the European Union and all these little just loser, god damn it, just evil people coming and ruining this country, and Russia comes in trying to help them at the request of that government, and Bashar al-Assad is supported by his people, by an overwhelming majority, and these people have the gall to say we need to protect the civilians from Russia? Holy moly, jagoffs all! Wow! And so yeah, the U.S. empire is invading Syria. It first was covert, now it's progressing into the overt stage where they're calling for overt war in Syria. They tried in 2013 with the chemical weapons attack that they said was Assad using chemical weapons on his own people. We find out later it was the Western-backed CIA-funded terrorist rebels that released the chemical weapons. And, but they tried to blame it on Assad, Obama with his whole red line thing, but the American people rose up and said, no! Okay, and that is exactly what needs to happen now. Now we are called upon once again to sound the battle cry of revolution and nullify the state war machine. For if there is one thing these parasites fear, it is that we have their number, and we are prepared to delegitimize their regime like never before in modern history. Let it not be said that the American people rolled over one more time and let World War III start because they were distracted by sports or elections or anything else. Another country is about to be destroyed by the American war machine, and except this time it is also Russia and China that will be engaged in war as well. This is not 2003. This is 2016. Fuck a war, my brothers. Fuck a war, my sisters. Don't even flinch when they throw the propaganda. Don't believe the hype. Keep all eyes on the prize, and the prize is paradise. But the price of paradise is that first we must think twice when a gang of thieves and murderers try to sell us lies. So with that, many blessings to you all. I hope you have a great week, and just remember we're in a very dire time in our history, and it's important at this moment, above all, to speak the truth and resist the war machine as best we can. Wholeness and balanced vibrations. See you next time.